Welcome to the course of design pattern. This course is purely designed for the programmers. If you are a programmer and you do not know about the word of design patterns, it simply means that you do not know about the coding or how to code. In this course, the voice you are listening is the voice of Mohammed Farooq. Yes, it's me. I am a software engineer and research student at FAST, and I am Coursera certified in specialization in software design and architecture. There are total 23 patterns in this course. Before discussing one by one, we should know about what is design patterns. In design patterns, the word pattern means there is a problem, this is a solution of recurring problem. Yes, if the problem comes again and again in our life, we have a defined solution to it. That's called a pattern. Just for example, we have a recipe in the book. So in design pattern for the programmers or the software developments, it is the practical proven solutions of the recurring problems. Yes, with the problem that we face in the software development life cycle, we have a practical proven solutions that are designed by the four authors, four researchers, or Goma et al. These four people are also known as Gang of Four, and they wrote a very famous book named as Element of Reusable Object-Oriented Software. The things that we discuss in these lectures are all comes from this book. This is a very famous book and known as the classics of software engineering. These patterns are categorized into three categories: creational, structural, and behavioral patterns. Creational patterns are dealing with the creation of objects. It means that when we create an object or create a class, the patterns associated to the creation of objects and class are associated with the creational patterns or comes under the category of creational patterns. What it means, if you know about the JavaScript, we have the facility, JavaScript provide us the facility to create an object and check the runtime behavior of that object. So the problems comes to the creations of the objects, that all comes in this category. There are many more types that define the creational patterns we discuss later in this course. There is another category of the pattern is called structural patterns. It describes how objects are connected to each other. How the principle of coupling and cohesion works in the programming, and you know about the famous principle of grass principle. We discuss in this category of the course what grass principle, how we define the responsibility of the classes. That famous grass principle also states that every class should have only have a one responsibility to it assigned to it. So it means that every class has one responsibility. They do not confuse the user that it describes so many responsibility in it. The next category in the patterns are behavioral patterns. They describe how each object does a single cohesive functions. For example, a crew team in plane. The whole crew each crew member has its own responsibility, but each crew member's responsibility are dependent to another member of its own crew team. So putting all the work, all the functionality of the crew team, they do a certain job. So the dependability of the responsibilities in the classes are defined in one cohesive functions. So these kind of problems will we discuss briefly in the patterns and the behavioral patterns, like the state behavior patterns, how objects how objects change its states to one state to another state by changing the value of its variables and attributes, how events occurs, how sequence of functionality called in the classes. We discuss this in the behavioral patterns. So all these categories have many more types that we will discuss them in one by one later in this course. So keep watching our lecture series in this video series. So subscribe the core concept and keep watching. Thank you.